Hot dogs, get your fresh hot dogs here. Hot dogs, get your fresh hot dogs here.
Hi, I'm Kyle.
And I'm Tori.
We're actors and you can be an actor too.
Today, we're going to show you how theater artists can set the scene for a performance. That means giving clues to the audience about the setting of our story.
Before characters even start talking, we can give the audience details about where and when the story takes place.
To communicate the setting, we can think about what the audience will see. We can use visual elements like backdrops, furniture, and props to show where the story takes place.
And we can think about what the audience will hear. Imagine our story takes place at the beach. What sounds could we make to help our audience understand that?
Ooh, we might hear some waves hitting the beach and maybe the sound of seagulls.
Yeah, let's try it. When I say lights up, let's pull those sounds together and see if we can set the scene. Tori, can you make the sounds of the seagulls and I will make the sounds of the waves? Ready? Lights up. And cut.
If we do our job well, hopefully the audience thinks, hey, it sounds like this story starts at the beach.
That's right. Let's use our vocal acting skills to set the scene in an activity called Setting Soundscape.
Setting Soundscape works with any story we want to tell. It can be something we've read.
Or it can be something we've made up.
Let's start with a story we've read. How about a fable like The Boy Who Cried Wolf?
Oh, I love that one.
Me too. The great thing about starting with a book or play is that we already have plenty of information in the words, and sometimes even pictures.
Right. So first we need to figure out where and when the story takes place. What do we know?
Well, we know it takes place at the foot of a mountain near a dark forest. It says so in the first line of the story.
And we know that this is where the boy takes his sheep to graze. So I'm guessing there's an open field?
Yeah, so next we're going to think of all the sounds that might help us communicate this setting.
What sound should we add?
Well, I think we should definitely make the sounds of the sheep grazing and maybe birds to show that it's a nice sunny day.
Okay, I can make the bird sounds. Why don't you add the sheep sounds? What sound should we add for the dark forest?
Oh, maybe we can add the sounds of wolves howling in the dark forest.
Yes, the sounds of the wolves will help add a little danger. It might also help the audience understand why the boy lies about the wolves in the first place. It's a great idea.
So now we just need to pull it all together.
That's right. It will be important to plan out our setting soundscape first. What sounds will we hear first? Will the sounds happen all together or one at a time? What is your cue that signals you to go? A cue is a word, sound, or action that signals when it is your turn. For example, when I hear the sounds of the sheep, I will know it's my turn to make the wolf howl.
So let's start the scene with the wind and the birds, then we'll add the sheep sounds, then the wolf howl.
Perfect. And let's finish setting the scene when the first line is spoken.
Okay, that could be the narrator, the person who tells the story. But what if we have the boy say the first line?
Yeah, he could say something like, oh, I'm so bored. All I ever do is watch sheep. And all they ever do is eat and say bah.
Great. But when the boy speaks, we will need to be quieter.
Oh, that's true. Once we've set the scene, we need to make sure that we can hear the story. Should we try it?
Let's go. I'll say lights up to get us started. At the end of the scene, I'll say cut for us to stop. Ready? Lights up. I'm so bored. All I ever do is watch sheep, and all they ever do is eat and say bah. And cut. That was fun.
Notice Tori and I had to make lots of different sounds, but when you tried this with a larger group, you should try to only make one sound each.
Let's try another one, but this time we won't start with a story. Let's just start with a habitat, the natural home of a plant or animal. Then we can make up a story. Want to try the rainforest?
That's a great idea.
What sounds would we hear in a rainforest?
I think it rains there a lot. That's why it's called the rainforest, so rain.
And there are a lot of birds, so bird calls.
Great. Now, let's start with the rain and the birds. That should get us started nicely.
And what if we add some monkeys? I know monkeys live in the rainforest. Ooh, and some bugs.
And then what if everything gets really quiet because a jaguar enters the scene?
Oh, and you can be the narrator like in a nature show.
Awesome. Well, I'll give us a lights up and then we can begin. Remember, we will start with the rain and the birds, and then we will add the other animals. And then the animals will all go silent when the jaguar enters. And that will be the cue for the narrator. Ready? Lights up. Here we see the noble jaguar silently stalking his prey through the brush.
And cut. I really loved the addition of the jaguar. It sure did change the sounds that we would hear.
That was a really fun way to share what we know about the rainforest.
Now, we invite you to try setting Soundscape with your classmates.
First, figure out what setting you want to communicate.
Then, gather the information you already know about the setting. You might have clues in a story that will help you.
Or you might have learned about the habitat or environment in class.
Then, think of the sounds you might hear in that setting and practice recreating those sounds with your voice.
Plan out when you will hear the sounds. What's your cue that tells you it's your turn?
Consider adding a line of narration at the end to help get the scene started.
And finally, practice putting it all together.
If you can, perform your setting Soundscape for an audience. Afterwards, ask them if they can tell you where and when your scene takes place. Have fun!